Monster Hunter World, Dan Tack.
Whoa, that's a game.
Yeah, it's a hell of a
I've
game.
heard.
You've put in dozens and dozens and dozens of hours at this
I
point.
believe my clear time was around 55 to 60.
Wow. Okay, so you're a huge Monster Hunter fan. You dive into World.
I'd say so.
Give me the evolution of your thoughts on it. Did you start out skeptical, thinking that they babified it or kind of
Sure.
stripped everything good out of it?
As most people, as many of the hardcore veterans have surmised, whenever you have something that's designed for a wider audience, maybe with more accessibility conventions, sometimes the series veterans are going to be afraid that they're taking away their toys and what makes the game great, like,
Yeah.
the easy mode Dark Souls conversation, anything like that.
And my toys are menus. That's my favorite toy.
Sure. So what I will say is that the hardcore stuff is still there. It's just and it still definitely gets to that point of being all those systems and mechanics and features that, people love are there. It's just a smoother ramp toward that challenge and that difficulty rather than just throwing you in the deep end of the pool. Now it's sort of like, we'll start you off with you can learn. And as you learn, we'll start unlocking new stuff and giving you new toys to play with.
Is it as literal as just throughout the course of the game, you're unlocking more and more people to talk to, more areas in the town that have menus within submenus within submenus?
More features and systems unlock
Okay.
the farther you get into the game. And I also really like that they now tag weapons with, this weapon has 3 stars, so it's good for new players. It's a responsive, fast weapon where you hit the button, it does a thing.
Yeah.
And it may not be as complicated as some of the other weapons with bells and whistles that you have to manage long combo chains, different sockets and mechanics that you have to look up, and timing mechanics, like I need to know when that monster's going to turn around so I can hit him in the head. Or I need to know that this certain bow gun has enough ammo slots to use 2 poison, 2 sleep, 2 wyvern, and 5 slicing in one clip before I have to reload, switch, swap,
Yeah.
and all this other kind of crazy jazz.
We know the hunting horn is funny, but don't start
Sure.
with it.
I would not start with the hunting horn,
Okay.
although I wouldn't consider, it's a tough weapon, but some of the slower weapons, I think, the slower the weapon is, the more challenging it is for a new player. But it basically gives you the new player selection, like use the knives, use the longsword, use stuff that if you're used to other games and not used to Monster Hunter, where you might press a button and not have an instant reaction, if you want instant fluid response, I hit a button, I do a thing. There's no animation I have to calculate. Just take one of those speedy weapons. Anyway, but all the challenge and stuff is still there. What it does is it gets rid of some of the annoyances, like tagging monsters with paintballs to chase them from zone to zone,
Right.
and just uses scout flies, which is great.
Really, so I think scout flies were divisive out of the gate.
Yeah, they were. Every time you change a series that has been the same for so long, anytime you introduce any kind of change, it's going to be like, wait a minute. Is this good? I don't know.
It's like adding an objective marker in an FPS or something, right? So it's just always
Sure.
showing you where you should be going next.
If you want.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
you can turn it off, but certainly, if you're in a zone, you want to chase. Let's say you're on a zone in an expedition, so not an assigned quest. There's going to be 3 monsters in that zone. You can click the button on the one you want to track, and your scout flies will lead you to it.
That's very handy.
If
Is
you
that
find
the
clues.
biggest change overall? Do you think there's other?
It's a huge change. Other cool stuff is like auto crafting.
Yeah.
Just a lot of streamlining some of the really annoying crap. Like, oh god, I have to go craft a bunch of slicing ammo and a bunch of poison ammo. Forget all that. It's all automated now if you want to.
So when did your skepticism melt away in this game?
At first, I thought it was sort of like babyfied, right? And then I started getting to the mid to the end game, where they do turn the bigger guns on. Maybe not as hard as crazy G rank stuff in previous games, but certainly of a difficulty level that will please fans, I think. And perhaps in the future they will introduce download content for even bigger challenges, which I expect.
And you soloed a lot of this game.
The
right?
entire game.
Is that not recommended?
I would definitely think that a multiplayer is a more satisfying Elder Dragon experience. So
The Elder Dragon specifically, just fighting them
here's how
solo sucks.
I basically divided the game into 3 parts.
Okay.
Low rank, high rank, which the game does itself, right?
Smart.
High rank is where they start letting you actually play.
Yeah.
That's where all right, you get decorations, which I think jumps in Diablo, where it's I want to add skills to my armor, punch in these sockets, add different abilities, mix and match set pieces, do a lot of fun stuff you couldn't do before. And then you get to Elder Dragons, which is, of course, even more extreme customization and the hardest fights in the game. So those are the 3 tiers. The Elder Dragon fights are definitely of a higher caliber. The end boss was challenging solo.
Throw your controller challenging?
No, not throw your controller. Not throw your controller challenging.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say it was the hardest fight ever, but it was challenging.
You seem to think there was one fight in this game that you called BS and you never wanted to do it again.
Yes, but that was because I think a lot of that has to do. I can't wait to play the game with different weapons.
Okay.
The weapon that I had
Which is?
and the playstyle I was using, which was it was a melee. Let's just say it was a melee weapon.
Keep it vague. We don't want people finding out your social security number.
Well, no, I don't want to ruin the fight. The fight is against one of the Elder Dragons, which is the Wind one, the Steel Wind. So basically, this is a heavily armored beast, so very resistant to everything, and it has like a tornado it keeps around him at all times to buffet you off. Anytime you get close, you get knocked back.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to like. It was just an annoying fight. Like I was never really in danger of dying, I don't think, but it took me like 40 minutes to kill the stupid thing.
Oh.
Like it was a war of attrition against that thing, and like you have to against any Elder Dragon, they all have moves that maybe not necessarily one-shot you, but have the potential to maybe like one-shot combo you.
Yeah.
Like stun you, and then I'll just hit you again, and you'll be dead, even with really, really great armor. And that's, got to keep your armor upgraded.
I feel like we need to zoom out a little bit.
Let's do that.
I mean, what do you think of this game? What are your overall thoughts on it?
I'm very pleased.
Okay.
I'm very pleased with the game. I think it's a great, again, I think it does a great job at both onboarding and satisfying longtime fans. I think it's a great game. I hope that new fans can get into it with the sort of trickle of complexity. I think if they handed you everything off the bat, it would be very difficult to get into, regardless of the new accessibility and streamlining.
Well, we have a case study in this exact thing with JV Gwaltney, who has been strangely silent, but you've also been playing a lot of Monster Hunter World.
Yeah. No, I just wanted, to let, since Dan reviewed the game and everything, answer all your questions about it. I came from the opposite vantage that Dan did. I'm completely new to Monster Hunter. I played maybe an hour of it on 3DS. I didn't have a problem with the game on portable, except like it hurt my hands to play. Like it was very cramped.
Love the game. I mean, it was unplayable, but
yeah. But I really enjoyed this game, and I'm still trying to figure out. It's one of those things where you play a game, and if you play as many games as we do, sometimes it's hard to be like, okay, well, why do I like this so much? And I think it's one of those things where it's a game that's more than the sum of its parts. Because, you present something to me that's like hunting monsters. I'm not necessarily there.
You played Evolve, you get it.
Yeah. Evolve's not that. I don't love Evolve. But there's something about the balance between complexity, but also, sort of streamlining, and teaching you how to learn all the mechanics in Monster Hunter World that I really like. And there's something that's just really fun about tracking the monster and learning its patterns, sort of that very satisfying Dark Souls thing of watching the boss that you're fighting and learning its patterns, knowing when to roll, knowing, when to step out of the way, knowing when to have it focus on your palico, which is, if you haven't played the game before, you have this cute little cat buddy that...
I think that's the answer right there.
Yeah, cute little cat buddy that's actually super useful.
It's just that it's really satisfying in games to know something intimately.
Yeah.
Normally, it's like a space, castle, something like that. But in Monster Hunter, the idea of just knowing these monsters inside and out, Dan Tack, it's really satisfying to just be like, Great Jagras, I know everything that guy can do. I know exactly how to take him down. Right. That's the earliest example.
Yeah, and it's not just and it's no longer just knowing the monster, but it's always been about sort of knowing your equipment and your consumables. Those are very important elements. I want to stress that for people who might be picking up this game that just think, grab your sword, go out and kill the monster.
Yeah.
Bring stuff, okay? Supplies are part of the hunt. That will help you a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of joy to be found in preparation in this game, which is essential. Like, it's not merely a matter of you running up. Like, because this is how I tried to play the game for the first 3 hours, because I'm usually a rogue sort of class. Like, I like to get in there, do high critical damage, be very speedy, sort of, lightweight. That doesn't work that well. You'll get your ass kicked about the second or third monster you go up against.
Even with the right weapon?
Yeah. So you should probably prep stuff like traps, potions. Like, you got to go into a fight prepared, and I really like that aspect of it. It makes it feel intimate. Yeah, like you said, intimate's a good word.
Okay.
And more so than other games, I think this one plays up environmental advantages that you should be aware of. Before you start a fight with a monster, by the time you get to the end game, you're thinking, well, if I take him over here, I can run up on that platform, or I can jump off that tree and it'll give me an edge. You're going to start thinking about environments in new ways as you start taking on bigger challenges because you want to get that edge.
So that isn't just a little gimmick for the back of the box. It's actually crucial to drop these
not
rocks.
Crucial,
on the
but
monster.
very helpful.
Okay.
But the flip side of this too is a lot of the time in games like this where you have sort of a tactician element where you're planning things, it's often annoying when it goes awry. Like, when some part of some element of your plan falls out. That's not the case in Monster Hunter World. Like, it's genuinely exciting when, you've got this monster down maybe to half of his health or whatever, and then another monster just erupts out of nowhere, Godzilla versus Mothra style, and starts like fighting both of you at the same time, and the environment's coming down around you. It's genuinely exciting.
Wow.
I found that aspect of the game actually kind of mixed.
Oh.
Sometimes I was really cool to see the monsters come in and fight. Other times I was like, oh my god, let me do my thing. I'm just here to hunt this monster. And then two others get in the mix. And it's just like, at that point, you got to bail, because even if they are all pounding on each other, some of those late game monsters, like, they'll just annihilate you if you're even on the same screen almost. So you got to be like, I can't dodge this literally bomber. One of the monsters later on in the game, I think it's new, I'm not sure, literally functions as like an aerial bomber.
It's like a B-52 flying
Yes.
over. Okay.
Yeah, seriously, it's crazy. And it's just like, oh god, I don't want you to show up. Please just let me kill this monster one-on-one. And then it's like, no, we're bringing in the whole crew, all right? And then like the other one will just roll right in. Like that guy jumps in, starts bombing you, and all of a sudden just like rolling monster will come in and just run you right over. It's a way to get taken out of the game real quick. However, so I didn't like, sometimes that can be frustrating, but at the same time, it can be cool to watch them fight it out and sort of sit on the sideline sipping a potion, letting them beat each other up. That's also fun.
But it's not even that like sort of sitting on the sideline thing for me. It feels like a scene out of Jurassic Park when the humans are running through the legs of like these two monsters that are fighting each other, and you're just having the tail flip right in front of you, narrowly missing you.
They're not monsters, like
That's
they're
true.
animals.
You know, after we saw it in the like preview coverage and stuff like that, I thought it was really gimmicky how they sort of forced those scenarios, but no, they do happen organically and they're cool.
Yeah.
I do want to say on the PS4 though, some real frame rate problems.
Oh God,
when
yes.
you get a couple monsters in the same spot. So
I think
be
wasn't
aware.
Leo saying that he thought there was like a video capture issue at times? It was so
It's
bad.
definitely very pronounced when
Really?
you have multiple monsters in the same arena, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
So if I do have to, I need to add that as a detractor. Definite frame rate issues on standard PS4.
Yeah.
So I still feel like I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. Is it a loot grind that you're into, JV, or what has captured your imagination more than you thought?
I think it's because I'm usually not really a loot grindy person. Like Destiny, you know, I fell off of both of those hard. I did like Destiny 2 more than the first game, and I've never been into MMOs like World of Warcraft. I played that for a month, but the loot grind stuff sort of, you know, it's just not a thing I'm usually into. But there's something about the way Monster Hunter World handles it where, you know, it doesn't feel like I'm getting stuff too fast, even in game, and the power boosts are substantial between weapons, and most of the armor looks cool. And it really feels, I feel like there's, again, intimacy. It's a weird word to apply to game design, but
Yeah.
you know, since you said that, it's been sticking in my mind. Like the idea that you're crafting this armor, that you're going out, you're literally taking the armor from the environment and you're putting it together. There's something super satisfying about that.
Wearing your enemies.
As opposed to like in Destiny or, you know, any other game where it's like, oh, here's another damn loot box with something that I just randomly earned.
Because there's such a story behind it. Like
Right.
I remember grinding against this monster for so long, and now I'm wearing his skull as my hat.
Yeah.
I would say there's a satisfaction in earning, in the earning process, and the like. Yes, I have successfully bested this monster. The power boosts are significant.
Mm.
Like, you can tell the difference when you get a new weapon in this game because it's a big one, and it's like, you know, I earned this weapon from killing this other dragon, you know, a couple times, and it feels really great to not only have that power, but it looks cool. Definitely fashion is an element, as it always has been,
Mm-hmm.
to sport some cool sets.
I think my only issue with the game so far is, this might be mild spoilers, but some of the monsters you fight in Tier 1, the way that Dan's laid it out, you know, sort of get boosted in power in Tier 2, so you have a lot of returning monsters that you hunt.
Interesting. More
they're-
so than like the average Monster Hunter, Dan?
No.
Okay.
The
This
other
is always
Monster
a
Hunters
thing.
usually would be like, now you got to fight two of them. So in this one, you just fight the
Hey,
plus
yeah,
version.
Yeah, they're
Right.
just more powerful, and I think ultimately I'm okay with it, but it does sort of lean on the side with how Metal Gear Solid 5 had its weird thing where it's like, go replay these missions that you already did.
But much harder.
Yeah, much harder for no reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's also, it gets away with it in the same way that Metal Gear gets away with it because the gameplay loop is so fun.
Yeah. Also, do you remember that time that Big Boss did fight Rathalos?
Yeah.
Rathian? That was funny.
Peace Walker.
That was weird.
Yeah. That was super
we need to
weird.
make sure there's a big difference between Rathy and Rathalos. Be very careful.
Yeah,
here.
Dantax learned from the
Yeah,
YouTube comments.
God.
So, JV, have you hit a wall? Like, I want to know, because we're doing a game club starting next week, by the way. So we're covering the low rank fights in general. So join along. It'll be fun. Send in feedback to podcast@gameformer.com. But have you hit, like, what's the most scared you've been playing this game? Because I think there's going to be a lot of newcomers to this series. What walls are they going to hit that are going to be really
It
intimidating?
doesn't really feel like there have been too many walls. There was one fight with a Rathalos in the ancient forest where I had Imran with me, and I went into that fight going, okay, this is going to be easy because I got Imran's got my back. And I think Cork was in there too, maybe, and we just got our asses kicked. And it was mostly bad luck more than anything else, just because he got us, all three of us, caught up in one of those like long combos that ends with, a killer finish. So I got kind of bummed about that, but I decided to try and take him on my own and killed him within like 20 minutes.
So it'd be a difficulty wall rather than a systems wall.
Yeah,
There's never a moment of like,
oh no,
God.
because the streamlining is so well done. It's never, because they do it piecemeal, so it's never like you step into the hub world and it's like, oh my God, so many menus, I have no idea what's going on. It's like you do a quest, you unlock a new resource, you do 3 more quests, and then you unlock another one, and it proceeds at a very nice pace. Like you just get comfortable enough with the last resource that you unlocked and understanding how it works before you get the new tutorial.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say they did a great job with sort of the division. I'd say that anybody can enjoy low rank and high rank completely without a problem. And then if you're going to have trouble, it'll be at the Elder Dragon stage when those become an issue. But I believe, at least is my anticipation, that the onboarding and progression ramp is as such so that it doesn't go like smooth and then spike. It's just more of a gradual incline.
Yeah.
So hopefully by the time you get there, you've cut your teeth on some really hard stuff and you're ready for some more serious challenges.
Yeah. Best Monster Hunter ever, Dan?
Yes.
Wow.
It is the best Monster Hunter
Do
game.
you think it'll be something like, because I know recently they also released Double Cross, right? Do you think that this is sort of like a Civilization Revolution kind of thing, where it's like this is a side series, or do you think that this is sort of the new direction for Monster Hunter? Something like Double Cross is a dead end.
I think this is
going to be where they go.
I think this is the new direction for Monster Hunter, but I also think they're going to have to provide the equivalent of much harder endgame content down the line, and I'm sure they will in the DLC or something. That's my prediction. But to satisfy the hardcore fan base. But they've already got, like, the groundwork is there. This is the platform I want to see it on. I never want to play it on a 3DS ever again. I'm just going to say it. I never want to.
Yeah.
My hands don't want to do that. I don't want to do my eyes don't want to do that.
Yeah.
This is the real deal now, and it's great. It's the best Monster Hunter's ever been.
And what score did you give it?
A 9.5.
9.5.
And again, it's an amazing game, but again, we're talking about PS4 here.
Yeah.
Definite frame rate issues. So that's a
You didn't play on a Pro, right?
Not on a Pro.
Okay.
I would like to play on a Pro.
Yeah. And also on Xbox One, it's launching, they said, ambiguously later in the year on PC.
Yeah,
right?
hoping for a great PC port. Autumn, whatever that means. So this year, we hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Autumn, get on it. Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can subscribe to the audio version and listen to new episodes airing every Thursday. We cover big games on the horizon, games that we've just reviewed. We have long-form developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So check it out every Thursday.